Houston, and welcome to the H-Town Horseshoe. My name is Michelle Duvall. I'm the mayor's social media manager.
And I'm Rebekah Williams, supervisor for ceremonial documents, a.k.a. #ProgNation, okay? So today on the H-Town Horseshoe, we have an amazing guest with us. She is the director of Department of Neighborhoods, a.k.a. Dawn. The one and only director, TaKasha Francis. Welcome to the Horseshoe.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
It is really, really good to have you. So, you are from the Department of Neighborhoods,
Yes.
a.k.a. Dawn.
Come on.
Dawn.
And you guys have 5 different offices that
Yes.
align with Mayor Turner's vision for our city, yes?
Yes.
So, on this episode, we want to break those departments down.
Sure.
And first, we want to start with the Mayor's Office of Gang Prevention and Intervention. Can you tell us what that office does specifically for Houston?
So the Mayor's Office of Gang Prevention and Intervention deals specifically with youth and family services to keep kids out of gangs and off the streets. It is also providing wraparound services to kids who are looking to either come out of that particular lifestyle and actually change the trajectory of their lives. We also have a number of programs that we do with different schools and school districts that deal with gang prevention, but it also deals with simple issues like our Ladies' Choice program, where we actually work with young ladies in middle school and in high school to kind of help them, enhance what it means to be a young lady, to teach social skills and different things like that in high gang related, or crime activity areas. We also work with our youth in different programs to kind of, move them away from some of the elements that they might be living around or that they're trying to escape. We also understand and work with a lot of kids that are already in that life,
Right.
Who are either trying to maintain, but usually it's going to be a trajectory outside of that. So whether it's helping them get ready for prom, whether it is
Right.
helping them find jobs, we offer tattoo removal services.
All right.
We also offer in some instances job placement services where we're able to move forward and move those kids out of those environments,
Right.
and actually putting them on a trajectory to changing, their lives. And just working with a lot of different agencies so that we can actually help holistically deal with that. The other thing that we do with the Office of Gang Prevention and Intervention is we work very closely with different organizations, HPD, of course, being one of them.
Right.
Our counselors are experts in their field in terms of not only being able to navigate some of the issues that we find when it comes down to gang culture and activity in the city of Houston, but they also do seminars and presentations, not only here in Houston, but then, throughout the country to talk about those different areas of gang culture and gang life. So there's an educational component there as well. And so it's what they do.
That's a lot of
That
moving
is a
parts.
lot. Yeah.
How do people get started or get do they bring the children there?
Sometimes it happens. So the thing with our counselors is they have really good relationships in the schools that they work with.
Okay.
And what I like to kind of say, if you all watch Power, y'all familiar
Yep.
with that?
Yes, come on, Power.
Character by the name of Ghost.
Yes.
And so, Ghost is there, but you don't know Ghost is there.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that's kind of how the Mayor's Office of Gang Prevention and Intervention kind of gets around when it comes down. Like, if you know, you know.
Right.
And so when, you start working in those schools and they have great relationships with the kids that they work with. And so it's a tell a friend kind of situation.
Okay.
If you have that. But we also work more specifically with the counselors of these schools and the principals at these schools. There are some parents that reach out independently just because they've heard of the work that we're actually doing.
Right.
And so each one of our counselors, kind of in a social worker kind of structure, actually have students that they work with at their schools, and they do different things for the family. Some of these youth may find themselves becoming parents. Some of these youth may find themselves, actually needing jobs or different things. So that's part of the wraparound services that we actually provide, and trying to help them with different resources that they need. Right. And, the hard stuff, which I can't really go into detail about because that's actually beyond what I do day to day. But what I know our counselors do day to day is literally looking at every aspect of their life and working with these kids so that they can have better outcomes. And it is not something that is forced upon these kids. There are some kids that actually come in and decide the life is what they want to do, but they know that we're there.
Yeah.
Right.
They have an option.
And just like we have some who make a decision, to kind of do what they know, more often than not, we usually have people that decide they want to do something different.
That's
And since we're telling our friends here at the H-Town Horseshoe,
Yeah.
is there a website or a place someone can go to get more information if they want to utilize the service?
So everything that anybody would want to know about any of our divisions is on the Department of Neighborhood's website, which of course is attached to the City of Houston's website. Look for Department of Neighborhoods, and we are there.
All right. So, again, 5 divisions. You got a lot going on, a lot of work. Next division up would be inspections and public service. Before I get into that, though, with all the divisions, how are you as a director able to navigate your expertise in all of them?
Well, I mean, your department is only going to be as good as its leadership, and I don't mean me in this regard. I have great division managers that give leadership to the day-to-day operations of all 5 of our divisions. So my 5 division managers are the ones who are responsible for the day-to-day operations and keeping everything going. My job more so is just to make sure that everything is coming together. I give vision to the department, determine strategy with my executive team so that we can figure out what's going to be best for the department. And quite frankly, just getting in where I fit in to support my leadership that's actually doing the day-to-day work as well as the people who are there. So, you know, as director, of course, I get to navigate in some spaces to make sure. And I think my biggest role is to make sure that I am able to give my team what they need. So that they can do what they need to do.
Hashtag teamwork.
Teamwork. We like it. We like
yeah.
it. So, with that, in the area of inspections and public service.
Yes.
So how does that work? What goes into it? How does that division help this city be better?
Oh my gosh. So the Inspections and Public Services Division is the most well-known division of my department. It is the most public-facing division, and it is the largest division of my department. So formerly it was called Neighborhood Protection. It used to be under the Houston Police Department, and that was because what we do in Inspections and Public Services is residential code enforcement. So that's a part of public safety. We are there to make sure that we keep neighborhoods safe and clean. So when you start seeing that yellow sign in your yard, you know, that is not a citation. That is a notice that we're required to give you that you need to clean it up, cut the grass, secure the house, move the junk motor vehicle.
Come on, junk motor vehicle.
Get the trash out
Make
the
it look
yard.
nice.
Make it look pretty. That's how it is, you know. So that yellow sign, that's what that is. And so basically we deal with residential code enforcement violations under Chapter 10 of the city's municipal code. And that usually covers high weeds. That's going to cover trash. It's going to cover minimum standards, which deal with dangerous buildings, which are not just the ugly structures. Now, most dangerous buildings tend to be ugly, but we don't enforce aesthetics. We are enforcing structural issues that will cause a serious and immediate harm or a danger. So a building could be ugly and still not qualify as one that needs to be demolished. Junk motor vehicles, you know, I understand that you think it's vintage and sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just sitting there and it attracts all kinds of pestilence and issues that can cause issues seriously in neighborhoods, and that's what we're trying to manage. So when you've got this high grass, all kinds of things in that grass, you got rats, you got snakes, you got ants, you got pestilence, you got all that kind of stuff. And anybody living near that and around that, now you're starting to create an environment that is not safe for the people that are there. So once we actually come out and we assess the situation and we see that there's a violation that meets Chapter 10, we're going to give you, we'll actually placard the property, which is the yellow placard, but we also send notice, because that's the notice that we're required to give you by state law and city ordinance. We also follow up, same notice in a letter. So you got 2 forms of notice that you need to take care of this. On average, we try to give people up to 14 to 21 days to correct. If you've not corrected within that time, and sometimes it's longer, you know, because we have so many, you know, inspections that we have to do. We have the initial inspection where we come out and we see if there are notifications, and we have what we call a checkback inspection. Our code enforcement officers are empowered to make decisions around extensions if that's what they, you know, deem necessary. Some people may need more time. They can give extensions, but we're not doing that in perpetuity. So we're not going to be giving you extensions from here until Jesus comes back.
Come on.
What is reasonable, And then after a certain amount of time, if compliance is not achieved, which is usually the first goal, then the ultimate goal is compliance by any means necessary. So either you can do it or the city will come in and do it. And if we have to do it, then we're going to lien the property for the amount of the work that we did, and your property the lien can be foreclosed, which means that you will end up with a bigger situation at some point if it's not taken care of.
Yeah,
So.
take care of that stuff.
Please
guys.
do. Please do. It
Take
sounds like
care,
a lot, and I don't want you to go through it.
Right?
I want you to be okay.
Now, you guys call yourselves the People's Department.
Yes.
And I could definitely see why.
Right.
Because you have a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
But you guys actually have an office of neighborhood engagement.
Yes.
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 And so there is a neighborhood improvement matching grants, right?
Yes.
Can you talk to me about what that is and how people can apply for those?
Sure. So we have a matching grants program that we do every year, and really it gives communities an opportunity to do some of the aesthetic things that they want to do in their communities. So whether it's going to be signage, whether it's going to be, park benches, or some other type of community project that could be paid for to bring beautification and lend to neighborhood morale and pride. So we basically facilitate the paperwork for those opportunities. The finances that are actually put in place to pay for these actually come from our council members.
Wow.
So the council member, council district service funds are what actually fund that program.
Okay.
So once you actually apply for the program, the council member at that point gets to review, whatever the project is. If it's something that they can facilitate in their budget that year, they give that approval. And from that point on, then the community has to go through the process of actually applying for the grant, and as well as following our city's procurement processes, because there are some legal touch points that we've got to make sure are in place, because these are public funds.
Right.
Yeah,
and they
of
have to
course.
be spent a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, we get a lot of calls from people who think that the process is very unnecessarily arduous. And why do we have to do all of this?
Because we're giving you money.
Right.
Yeah, that's very important.
And these are taxpayer dollars.
Yes, and we
You
have to
know,
hold these
so
folks
that
accountable.
triggers the lawyer in me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I understand what you're saying.
Right.
But these are taxpayer funds. It got to be spent a
Thank
certain
you.
way, and we got to make sure
Right.
that we're accountable in terms of
Yes.
the process. So we actually do it every year. We host workshops to show people how the process goes, and the application is usually going to be due the first Friday in November every year, and we try to release the new application by August of the preceding, fiscal year. So a lot of wonderful things happen out of matching grants, whether it's planting trees in A-Leaf, signage in Third Ward, just whatever, is needed. And our council members are great partners with helping us keep that program going.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Do you hear that, Rebecca?
What?
You hear that?
It's time?
It's time.
It is?
It is time. So we're going to play a game.
Okay.
It is game time.
Okay.
Okay. 5 questions.
Yes.
In 10 seconds.
Okay.
All right, we're going to break down these rules.
Got it.
Okay, so Rebecca's going to start off by asking you a question. We're going to tag team it. I'm going to keep the time. So we're going to keep everybody honest in here.
Ready.
Okay, I will start the time after Rebecca asks the first question.
Sounds good.
How many divisions are within Don?
5.
What is a super neighborhood?
Super neighborhood is a group of stakeholders from a particular area, ranging from civic clubs, businesses, churches, and the like.
When should you become civically engaged?
As soon as you know that you need to be.
Okay.
All right.
We got 3.
You got 3,
3 out of
but we're
5.
still going to ask the other 2 questions.
Yes.
Okay?
Only got 3?
You only got 3.
God, dog.
Look,
She got a competitive spirit. I love it.
so the next question would have been, we said we was done.
I know.
They wanted me to
Can
have more time.
people, right? Can people create their own super neighborhoods?
So, no, we already have specifically 88 super neighborhoods that were already predetermined. However, you can find out what super neighborhood is in your area and get involved. Or if your super neighborhood is inactive, you can reactivate it.
You gotta activate.
Oh,
Okay. And Don, what does the acronym SUPER stand for?
Well, those are our principles and our values. So SUPER stands for service, which is what we're about. Unity, we're unified as a body to serve everyone. P is for professionalism, because that is the standard. E, of course, is for excellence, because, of course, that is the standard.
Yes.
And R is responsive, which is what Don is to citizens' needs.
Awesome. And so, getting to our last 2 divisions for Don. Y'all are hard at work, and we thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
So tell us about the Mayor's Office of Assistance. I know that it's heavily used in this city,
Yes.
but tell us about some special projects that you all have going on that people may not know.
Well, honestly, that varies, because the Mayor's Assistance Office is the liaising arm of the department. So these are our community liaisons who work with citizens to help them solve problems. So the reason why it varies is because the problems vary, right? And the issues that need concern vary. But specifically, they're all assigned to the the 88 super neighborhoods that we talked about. We give leadership to the super neighborhood program now. It's no longer with the planning department. It's been with us unofficially for years, but now it's with us.
Okay.
And so we work specifically with our super neighborhoods and the Alliance. And so whether that looks like resource matching to help citizens solve issues, trying to help navigate whatever is going on in their particular community, whether it's helping with the CIP programs in terms of planning or either working with events, canvassing neighborhoods. So whatever is needed from that department or that division of our department, that's what we actually do. But our liaisons are a great resource for information, lots of institutional knowledge, but most importantly, they're there to help citizens navigate to get to solutions. And that's usually how I like to describe them. Yeah. We talked about the activity of our civic clubs or whatever. They can, if you're looking at starting a civic club in your area, they can help you stand one up. Okay. If we're looking at reactivating a super neighborhood, which is ideally what we would want to see. Right. Because right now we have about 52 out of the 88 that are active. Oh, so, that's great. There's a super neighborhood in your area that needs to be reactivated. We can help with that as well.
Let's do it.
So, yeah.
Do the work.
Okay, and then you guys, for the last division, we have the Mayor's Office of New Americans and Immigrants.
Yes.
What does that offer?
Yes. So the Office of New Americans and Immigrant Communities is a very special office because we work specifically with our refugee and immigrant community to help get them acclimated to the United States as well as to the city of Houston. Okay. Houston has the distinction of being the most diverse city in the nation. Yes. So we have a hugely diverse population here that we have to service. And so what this office does specifically, outside of, just getting them acclimated to the United States, we offer citizenship opportunities. We also work specifically with issues that affect our immigrant and refugee community. Right now, there's no secret that there is a lot going on from the previous administration regarding immigrant affairs. And so with Houston being the fourth and soon to be third largest city in the United States, a lot of the issues around immigration really do center, all eyes are on Texas, and more specifically all eyes are on Houston. Right. So not only do we help assist with resources, but we also help assist with policy. So looking at policies that work, we have different cities and even different international bodies and countries that are looking at Houston and looking to our leadership in that department, with Benito Juarez and Terrence O'Neill for policy decisions that have worked here. So we actually speak to a lot of that. So it's a lot going on in Don.
It's a lot going on.
Y'all are amazing.
Yes. And thank you so much for coming on the show and breaking this down for our viewers. I know it is very, very valuable information.
You're welcome.
Yes, definitely.
And Director Francis, as always, you're always a pleasure.
Yes.
Let me just say that. Like always. Every time I'm just around you, and I thank you for all that you do in your leadership capacity.
Thank you.
You said something earlier. Great leadership begets an amazing team, and the fact that you're able to navigate 5 departments and do it in excellence speaks volumes of you and your leadership, and speaks volumes of my mayor, because my mayor picked you.
Yes.
And he is
Shout out Mayor Turner.
Shout out to you.
That's it. We talk about leadership from the head
on
so
down.
We're very good. But we also thank the mayor, because one of the things that I appreciate about Mayor Turner is, well, in addition to his leadership, is the fact that, as I mentioned before, that I know that one of my most important roles is making sure that the department has what it needs to function. And by way of resources and support, Mayor Turner has been extremely supportive of the Department of Neighborhoods and really helping to provide those resources so that we can do exponential things.
Come on.
And so when I look at the last 7 years, which quite frankly, the department was formed in 2011.
Wow.
So the majority of the life of this department has been under this administration. Wow. I'm proud to say that under this administration, we have done some wonderful things.
Yes.
And we could not have done it without the support of our mayor. So I, want to take that opportunity to publicly thank him for what he has done and what we need him to still do. 10 months out.
Come on. Come on. Well, listen, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to the H-Town Horseshoe.
Yes.
Where we educate, have a good time. Catch us next week. We'll see y'all.
I was like, did you hear that?
I was like, what?
She's like, what do you hear? You hear that ringing noise again? Where is my timer?
What? She can do this.
You can do it?
She can do it.
It's all right.